Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Akmal bin Zainuddin.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Haiful Mahmud Rasul with the ID number 2022-946841.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Izaidi bin Alima.
Hi madam, my name is Nurauda binti Rasaidin. My ID number is 2022798161.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurauda binti Muhammad Hashim and my ID number is 2022910187. Gardenia Bakeries KL Sdn Bhd were established in 1986 and is a joint venture between CAF Limited, a Singapore-listed food group which also operates Gardenia Singapore and Gardenia Philippines and Padiberas National Berhad of Malaysia. Gardenia Bakeries KL Sdn Bhd began their first business by renting premise in Section 16 Shah Alam. Today, Gardenia is Southeast Asia's leading bread manufacturer. They operate bakeries in Malaysia and produce 53 types of products daily. Gardenia now has 7 fully automated plants, some of which can produce 10,000 loaves of bread per hour. Gardenia will continue to drive the bread market forward by being the first in the industry to introduce better products and new ways to enjoy bread. But at this point, Gardenia Bakeries has faced the challenge to achieve its goals during COVID-19. According to the article, there are some challenges that have been discovered during the COVID-19 pandemic. Gardenia Bakeries has been impacted by high cost raw materials, a labor shortage, excessive customer demand, and factory disruption.
First of all, Gardenia Bakeries Sdn Bhd faces the challenge of high cost of raw materials during the COVID-19 pandemic. The cost of raw materials to make goods has increased because the supply sources are limited due to lockdown. For instance, the price of eggs increases, and this has led to the increase in cost of raw materials. This problem has affected the production of goods, where the high in the cost of raw materials resulted in high prices of goods, which also resulted in complaints by customers. However, since Gardenia's goods are private goods consumed by consumers in daily life, the demand of the goods did not get affected, or there was only a slight effect. In contrast, the demand of the goods increased and exceeds the factory production limit. So, how can Gardenia Bakeries Sdn Bhd face this challenge? Many ways can be done to solve this problem. One of the ways is to prepare backup stock of raw materials. While raw materials with short expiry dates cannot be helped, raw materials that have long shelf life like wet flour and sugar can be bought in bulk as backup and kept in store or warehouse. Gardenia Bakeries Sdn Bhd also can make their own farm, whether animal or plant agriculture, to prepare backup raw materials. By this way, Gardenia Bakeries Sdn Bhd can just take in yields from the farm. Another solution to solve the high cost of raw materials is by searching for cheaper suppliers. In the market economy, there are a lot of suppliers, especially for raw materials that take a short time to prepare like eggs and flour. Gardenia Bakeries Sdn Bhd will always have the option to choose which suppliers to take based on the market price. Gardenia Bakeries Sdn Bhd can set a deal with a supplier, so if anything, the supplier will prioritize Gardenia Bakeries Sdn Bhd and still give a cheap price for the raw materials.
So, the next impact is excessive customer demand. COVID-19 outbreak causes a downturn in the economy and has caused an economic decline. It is clear that COVID-19 influenced socio-economic conditions. As a result, production for the product will decline and large demand force become excessive. In addition, when this system persists, the demand for goods depends on the price of the complementary item. In order to fulfill all of their goals, people demand goods and services in the economy. Demand is separate from desire, wish, want, and liking in economy. Effective demand in refer to as demand. A consumer who wants or seeks a product or service must have the financial means to purchase it and the willingness to pay for it. Demand is defined as the various quantity of goods or services that customers are willing and able to buy at various potential price in a particular period of time, assuming all other factors remain constant. Every consumer has different needs and wants, so Gardenia supplies many varieties of breeds in order to meet the demand of the consumer in order to satisfy them. In the law of demand, if the price of the goods increase, the quantity demand of the goods will decrease. Other bread brands have also been in high demand since the movement control order was implemented. Some factories in Malaysia were affected and had to substantially shut down. It was affected by the pandemic-driven inflation that has impacted production costs. So the first changes is set up more Gardenia bread processing factory. As an incentive due to increment of demand, Gardenia Sdn Bhd set up more Gardenia bread processing factories in every area in Malaysia. The opening of more Gardenia bread processing plants in Malaysia will not only increase the value of the country investment. In fact, it also opens up more new job opportunities for local children and increase the quantity of Gardenia bread even more. For example, at the beginning of COVID in Malaysia, many people panicked to buy goods so that the demand for Gardenia bread increased dramatically. Almost all supermarkets have run out of Gardenia bread stock due to high demand from production. Panic buying is a type of herd behavior. It is of interest in consumer behavior theory. The bread field of economic study deal with explanation for collective action and stock market movement. So the next changes is the increased price Gardenia breads. Gardenia companies can also increase the price of a packet of Gardenia breads following the increase in the price of raw material, includes flour, wool meat flour, vegetable fat, cocoa powder, meat and packaging. The price revision involves product in certain circumstances, which have maintained the same price for many years, including the Gardenia Original Classic bread range, which these Gardenia companies are able to balance production costs and raw material costs. For example, people tend to buy Gardenia bread when the price is RM2.17, but once the price increase up to RM3, people tend to switch the brand into another brand. It can be Massimo or High Five, as long as the price of the bread is lower than the price of Gardenia. When the price of the bread increase and the people are unable to afford it, automatically the quantity demand of the bread will decrease. Thank you.
Pandemic COVID-19 in Malaysia has had a significant impact on the Gardenia bakeries and economic condition, leading to the labour shortage of the Gardenia factory. The pandemic also affected several operations in areas including input, process, automating blending, production of sponge meats, fermentation room, production of dough meats, divider, intermediate proofer, final proofer, channel oven, automatic slicer, and bagger and output. Besides shortage in the labour supply, Gardenia had also to cope with social distancing and lockdown restriction, which affected their operation and revenue. The pandemic also drew an attention to workplace safety of the exploitation of the migrant workers working in the industries. Gardenia bakeries implement 6 features of the implementation of standard operating procedure to ensure that all workers entering the plant area are healthy to control spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. The main thing to do is control the entrance when only allowing employees with low risk in status of MySejahtera application to enter the factory area. The company also performed enforcement through the periodic internal audit or inspection conducted on a daily basis by the respective department and on a monthly basis conducted by audit teams from various departments. Next, continuous monitoring of COVID-19 cases through the use of information technology in real time in positive case reporting at all factories. Gardenia Bakeries Sdn Bhd implements segregation of the employees through different clock time clock-in times, separate canteens between employees from different production, as well as segregation of the employees living in hostel according to the factory and production. Other than that, the factory's management provide ongoing reminders through daily briefing during work shift changes, in addition to posting poster and notification on SOP, standard operation procedures, compliance. Lastly, sanitation is also done every time there is a shift changes in production, as well as three times day in public areas involving the canteen almost area. Besides implementing standard operating procedures (SOPs), reducing the dependence on the labor also is a way to overcome problem. Gardenia Bakery Sdn Bhd organization might think of increasing the effort of the existing workers. Companies who cannot recruit the needed labor quantity might think of the structural changes to moderate their scarcity problem. Companies can decide to restructure and the configuration of the production system. This implies searching for alternatives to replace the human capital. For example, investment in innovative technology development and innovative industrial machine can replace the hand of the workers beyond the assembly line. The development and the production of this machine is very expensive, so the organization need to calculate if this is a profitable way to solve the labor shortage problem from a long and short-term perspective. In addition, organizations have the opportunity to restructure the use of human capital. The so-called flexible shell is an approach to moderate the demand for labor during production fluctuation. This flexible shell can be described as a group of workers who are arranged by the flexible employment contract and they are deployable when production is fluctuation occur. Thank you.
Now we will switch to the next impact, which is the Gardenia Bakeries factory that was affected badly because of the flood. In December 2021, we were hit by a massive flood that moved to the northern part of Klang Valley and persisted in most areas of the Peninsula Malaysia. As a result, the factory at Shah Alam was out of stock because they couldn't continue producing their product as all the machines and ingredients needed to be fixed. Furthermore, all the lorries and trucks cannot deliver the supplies as they are stuck at the road when they want to cross to the next state's area. They couldn't go anywhere as all the exit and entry routes at the area were blocked because several roads and major highways were closed. As a consequence, 10% of the total production was affected for the year 2022. Although 10% may sound like a small portion, but actually caused a big loss to the company as they still need to pay for all the other costs. For example, on the news, people keep searching for the Gardenia products as Gardenia is like a staple food to them. Since morning, all the bread was sold out as soon as the products were sent by the supplier. As a result, there are some people who have to buy branded bread other than Gardenia such as Massimo, Dailies and Top Baker. For the solution, Gardenia Bakeries in Berhad maintained high standard of safety measures to clean the factory, to produce the best quality products for the customers so that there will be no customers that go away from this brand. The company needs to make sure that all the safety measures are followed to a high standard. But still, it is more important that all the workers do not face any injury during the flood. For the premise, the company disinfected plant facilities, equipment, and workstations on a regular basis, especially after the flood, as all the equipment was already being affected. Also, CAF Limited keeps monitoring the situation and stays in contact with insurers to ensure that the policy coverage is maintained, as well as continuing to assess the impact of losses experienced as a result of the production plant's closure. Besides that, the company also needs to increase supply production at other factories. This is because of the flood that caused the company to think about how to keep on their track to a maximum production to fulfill all the demand. As a result, the management has taken steps to increase supply production at 6 small bakeries. In Malaysia, they are still fully functional. At this place, all the factories have increased their supplies by 5%, which is the maximum level of production for Gardenia Bakeries in Berhad, as they cannot produce even more than 5%. As example, the new target production for Gardenia after the endemic era starts is 2.2 million books of bread a day. This supply will meet 60% of the demand for bread across the peninsula, with other brands also matching their strong demand.
In conclusion, it is critical to share leadership and manage the crisis as a team in order to navigate through uncertainty and to maintain good and open communication on all sides so that incidents, emotions, and bias do not catch us off guard. Leading and managing the team through this pandemic has been challenging, but Gardenia managed to overcome the crisis that occurred during pandemic, which is high cost of raw materials, labor shortage, excessive customer demand, and factory disruptions. From here, we could see that the Gardenia bakeries managed to solve this crisis by discussing and came up with the right solutions.